My name is Megan Fiesel. I work at Hallie Hewitson Elementary School. I'm a 5th grade teacher currently, but next year I'm going to teach K through 5 science as a special. So just a little bit about me. I've taught in CCSD for 6 years. I've grown to love, I grew up in the Midwest gardening with my grandfather. And when I moved here, it was pretty surprising that there was literally nothing. So when I came to Hewitson 5 years ago, we had a few beds, and Green Our Planet really helped us like expand and grow our business, which is kind of what we have now. We named our farm the Hewitson Harvest. So when we're at the farmers markets, that's our like marketing kind of thing. I'm just going to go over some things that I personally have learned about farmers markets in the past 5 years. I want you guys to please like stop me, raise your hand if you have questions. I'm a classroom teacher, so I really don't care if you interrupt me because I have fifth graders doing that to me all the time. So yeah, really, I'm here to spread my knowledge that I've gained through trial and error, so hopefully you can have a lot less errors than I did. So I'm going to start by going over school-based farmers markets. We've done a couple of these every year. At the very beginning, we only sold produce after school. We didn't do farmers markets outside of school because it was just very overwhelming and we didn't have a lot of produce. At this point we only had 6 beds, so we weren't producing like go out to the community and sell produce kind of produce. So because we had a smaller garden, we were selling things more often because we had to harvest a lot more often so we could get that turnaround happening. After we got our garden expansion, which there's some pictures in here, we got 6 more beds, fruit trees, the 2 classrooms. We have a lot more produce now. So we started going to the Green Our Planet farmers markets. We have been going to the Green Our Planet farmers markets since day one, like the first one that they ever had. And I'm going to get into a little bit about those farmers markets and how you can get into them as well. The first piece of advice I have is that you need to raise awareness that you even have a garden. So we like to add things like our school newsletter, put it out there that you're doing all these things if you have a garden club. It's just like advertising for your business. So you want to just keep putting it out there. Talk about it all the time. Have you been to the garden? Have you seen the garden? There's flowers in the garden. Just mention it casually to your coworkers. Like, hey, have you been to the garden lately? You can also make flyers to distribute school-wide. I know that we have Wednesday folders that we send home. Make a half sheet and say like, hey, we're going to have a farmer's market after school with our school-grown produce. We would love to see you there. We only accept cash. Make a sign for outside. So if you make one out of just crepe paper, great. But for some reason, our school found or someone left or we got donated like a taco stand, like A-frame. So if you can build one, make one, steal one, acquire one, put it out and just say like, tomorrow we will have a farmer's market. Hope to see you there at 3:00. So teachers will know, students will start to recognize that sign and be like, ooh, that means, kindergartners are like, that sign, it means that they're going to sell food. So it's just like awareness. And then school announcements, I don't know how many of you do, we have student-led announcements, so our kids go to the library and do the Pledge of Allegiance over the phone, you know, like the whole thing. Having a kid from 5th grade say, we're having a farmer's market after school, then their little sister, brother's gonna hear it, and everyone's gonna run around and, you know, be excited about the farmer's market. So just, you know, put it out there like you would any other business that you're running, because really it's the student business. So I've learned a lot from a lot of things that I've just thrown out there and tried. There is a such thing as too many cooks in the kitchen. Students want to help you all the time, but having 40 students outside with you selling produce, probably not a good idea. In this specific picture, it was one class, a 5th grade class, and the teacher was it wasn't my class, it was very gung-ho and really super excited, and there was just a bunch of kids like running around, and we were like, are you helping? Are you staying? Are you buying? Are you going? Like, who's handling the money? Where is the money? Does anyone have money? Like, it's just, you know, like, pick some kids that you trust, maybe from the garden club, and they should be like the designated farmers market people, and you can kind of rotate that around. Chaos ensues. Make a schedule maybe. If you're gonna do this once a month, schedule kids in, say, okay, the 27th, you gotta be there because you're gonna be the cash person at the farmer's market. And then one of the things I learned the hard way, make sure the kids tell their parents that they're gonna stay later after school. Because then you have parents driving up like, my kid never made it home. And then they're standing there selling vegetables. And they're like, so, you know, just like make sure that if you're making a schedule, send it home and be like, hey, show this to your parents so they know that you're gonna be late. So great segue into the big Green Our Planet farmers markets. These happen typically twice a year. I would love it if they happen more, but there's a lot of preparation that goes into going to the farmers market. If you want a spot, you need to sign up early. So like literally the day that you get the email, click the link and sign up. Even if like you haven't checked with your administrator yet, sign up and then say, hey, I signed up for this. Is that okay? If not, you can cancel. But we didn't have, like for this farmer's market that we just had, we didn't have our testing schedule yet. And I teach 5th grade. And I was like, well, I can't sign up knowing that we could have SBAC on that day. So I did not sign up and we did not get a spot. We were waitlisted. So thank goodness somebody dropped out and they called us the Thursday before the farmer's market and they said, do you want to go? And I said, yeah, because I'm crazy. And if it was our first time going, I would have said no, because there is a lot of preparation and there is a lot of things that you have to do to get to that point. But because we've done this for 5 years, I kind of knew what we had to do, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get it done tonight and send everything out, and we made it. So we didn't win the prettiest booth prize or anything, but we showed up and we made $97. So it was worth the experience. Select students wisely. According to the curriculum from Green Our Planet, 5th grade is in charge of the farmers markets. Their curriculum and the bankers that come in for the financial literacy, it's all geared towards 5th grade. That does not mean other grades can't help you get ready for the farmers market, but I would highly suggest, and Green Our Planet highly suggests, bringing 5th graders. In the past years, media releases have been required, not suggested, not, oh, if Johnny can't have his picture taken, he can wear a pink sticker. It is required that every student has permission to have their picture taken. We were on the news right at the very beginning of the clip. It was me in my booth and the kids at our booth, and I was like, oh, but, you know, like, I took 5 kids, and all 5 of them had permission to be on film and take pictures, but that is required now. I suggest trying to bring more than one teacher. I only bring 5 kids now because trial and error. And we have 5 fifth grade classes, so I pick one kid from each 5th grade class. But having a second teacher there not only gives me peace of mind, but it's also Johnny has to go to the bathroom, but Maria doesn't. And all, like all these crazy things that you think about, liability and all that stuff. So bringing more than one teacher is definitely advisable. This is a field trip. So you have to do the field trip paperwork that goes along with every field trip that you've ever been on. So you need to get the paperwork done in the required amount of time, and communicate with your administration. Just, be like, we're leaving and I have a substitute that day. Now that CCSD and Green Our Planet work together on this, all of the paperwork, all the information gets disseminated by CCSD in conjunction with Green Our Planet. So everything is together. So it's not them telling you one thing, CCSD telling you another, you filling out 17 sets of paperwork, and nobody's talking to each other, and now you don't know what's happening. So everything is very streamlined. The directions are very simple. I got the call the Thursday before we were supposed to go, and we got all of our paperwork signed and returned the next day. I scanned it all using my iPad. I sent it in. They were like, good, you're good to go. That's it. So it was very easy. And now you upload all your stuff to a Google Drive, which is even easier than the first time that we did it, and I had to have all the packets and take them there, and it's just like all the stuff. So it is so much, like looking back, it is so much easier now than it has been in the past, and it's great. So there's no reason for you to be like, well, I really hate paperwork. Well, everyone hates paperwork, but you're a teacher, so let's go. So read and then reread the packet. The packet is the information packet that Green Our Planet and CCSD send out has a lot of information. Read it again, make sure you understand what's happening, where you're going to be dropped off, where you're going to be picked up, those kinds of things. Make sure that you know the rules to what you can bring, what you can't bring, what you can sell, what you can take a donation for, all of those things. The liaisons are very helpful. So all the people that you see walking around in the Green Our Planet t-shirts, they all have something to do with this. They are all very helpful. Even your farmer will know like a bunch of answers to the questions that you have. So if you're just out there one day and you're like, oh, wait a second, they know the answers, or if they don't, they can get someone to answer you that day. So it's very easy to have all of your, even like questions that you think are really dumb, they will answer them. It's a little overwhelming, but they help you a lot. So the day of the farmer's market, this is where things get crazy. Everything should be harvested the morning before the market, because that's when it's fresh, and that's when you're going to get the most lovely juiciness out of everything. So what I do is our doors open for breakfast at 7:15. So I tell the kids, eat your breakfast, come to the garden. I don't tell all the kids that. I tell kids that I know are going to be helpful. So, I had one specific class of 5th graders this year that have been extremely helpful and willing to do whatever I ask them to do, and they follow directions very well. So I told that class, 7:15, you get here, you eat your breakfast, you come to the garden. And they were there, almost the whole class. And I was just like, cut that, do this. I gave directions. Everybody was doing something, and bam, we were ready to go. So the first time you do it, it's going to take a lot more time than you think it does. Once you get like a good groove going, like I said, this is our 5th year doing this, so I knew exactly what we needed to do. It took us an hour. So I know, it's a lot of practice. I know. I know. And you know what? A lot of what The first time it took forever, but because I was trying to micromanage everything. And that's something that I try to do in my life anyway, but you can, like, yes, they're gonna cut a bunch of random stuff, but oh well, you know, like, it's gonna grow back, or maybe it won't, but oh well, they'll plant something new there. So as I was having them, I'm like, here is a pair of scissors. I want you to cut all of this. And I came back and literally all of it was gone. And I was just like, oh well, you know, like it's not the end of the world. And the kids love it. They were tying bunches of kale together with string, and they had the biggest smiles on their faces. And I was just like, okay, you know, like, it's not worth all of the stress to have everything perfect. These are children selling produce. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. So that's something that I had to really come to grips with.
Did you have them wash everything too?
I did. So we just had, we have a harvest table, but it is not connected to water. So we had big buckets, and it was just, we had a lot of lettuces. So it was water with ice, and they just dunked it in and shook it off and tied it up. And then we had like radishes, which I had another bucket for, and it was not icy, and you know, they rubbed them off and then put them in a bag. It's not going to be the cleanest produce that you have ever bought in your life, but it's directly from the ground. Like, literally, you just pulled it from the ground. So people they understand that. They'll buy something that is dirty. The first time I did that, it was very meticulous. We had all this packaging. I was so proud of it. Like, yes, we're gonna be so great. And then I was like, we didn't get half the things that we wanted to harvest. We didn't get to harvest. We had less produce than I expected. The kids, I was angry in the garden. Like, why are you doing that? Stop touching everything. What are you doing? Where are you? You know, like, and it was just not fun. It just wasn't. Like, let some of it go. It's okay. You'll be fine. Just not all of it, but just a few things, because it'll be okay. Okay, so you can see on the tables, in the past years, we decided to use gallon size and pints, whatever size, pint size, that's not a thing, quart size bags. We worked with our sponsor, and they suggested us like doing this because we have a business. So our kids decided this, and we had a child draw the label, and we scanned it, and we did all the stuff, and each label is hand colored by a 5th grader at Hewitson Elementary, and you know, it was just, yes, it was a thing. So you can do that. You can also be the bucket people. That's fine. Either way, they will buy your produce. There's a lady that walked up and she was like, I have my own bag. So we took our stuff out of the bag and put it in hers. Like, whatever you want to do, there's no rules. Pack it in something with wheels. You're going to be transporting these things to and from the bus and then to your table. We were really lucky. The bus pulled up. We got off. Our table was right there. I was like, woohoo! In past years, we pulled up. The first year, actually, at Zappos, we pulled into a parking lot, had to walk down the busy streets of Las Vegas, and then to Zappos. Thank God I had another teacher with me, and everything was fine. Like, whatever. We didn't have anything on wheels. We carried all, yeah, it was great. But it was a great experience for our kids. It was awesome. But we learned that things on wheels are required. Now, because everything is working with CCSD and transportation, they pull right up, you get off the bus, and you walk onto the site, and your table could be at the other end of the site, but you're not walking down the street or anything. So, but I still,
there are people there to escort
yes, yeah, they help. There's so many volunteers now. And then be prepared for all weather. We have had sweltering hot farmers markets. We have had pretty chilly farmers markets. We've had windy farmers markets. We've had drizzle. Just be prepared for whatever happens. There's always a tent or some kind of covering Green Art Planet's really great at providing all of that for you, but be prepared. So I just added in some pictures. This was the first farmer's market at Zappos. We took 10 kids, too many. They were just so excited about life that they just wanted to just run around and see everything, and I couldn't let them out of my sight. So then we pared down to 5. So this was last year. This was the first one, and then the second one where Drew Brees and I can't remember that guy's name. They came, and the kids just were enamored, loved it. And then this year, we got fancy, and I made some T-shirts. So now they have, Green Art Planet has contests like the best booth and the most school spirit and the heaviest vegetable. Thanks. So we were learning about figurative language, so we all got a pun. So integrate garden into everything. Hey, I'm going to make some T-shirts. Can someone come up with a pun about the garden? And you're teaching and making something cute at the same time. So, okay, so he says, I feel good from my head to tomatoes. Every damn Brusselin. Turn up the beat. Romaine calm, it's garden time. All good times are had in the garden. And then the 2 teachers that I went, and then one of our strategists went. The strategist her said, I love gardening so much I wet my plants. That's a good one. And then honestly, I don't remember what mine said. But then the second farmer's market that we had this year, I let the kids keep their shirts, and I picked new kids, and then I made a whole new set of shirts for them. And they got to kind of choose their pun, and one of them was a cactus, said, can't touch this. Yeah. So, it's just fun, coming up with those things. My shirt now, and I think I'm going to keep it for the future, for my future farmers markets, it says, we're rooting for you. Because I'm not there to sell the produce. They are. And I'm just there as their support. So that's really the role I try to take, is step back and let them do it, because it's their thing and they love it. It's a learning process. It really is. Just like your first year in the classroom, you're not going to do everything right. And you're going to learn every year, you're going to learn a bunch of things. And that's great.